Hello, it's Gimbo, your second favorite Star Wars reviewer. Skeleton Crew. Can it wash away the sins of the Acolyte? Let's find out. We begin with an attack of space pirates. Right off the bat, we can tell this is intended for a somewhat younger audience.
Excellent.
The pirates easily overcome the resistance, and the captain gives a speech that, coincidentally, Kathleen Kennedy could give as well.
Some of you have all but given up on me. It's all forgotten now. Because at long last, I brought you to the only thing that matters. Cold, hard credits.
There is nothing to be found in the vault of the ship, and we jump to the title card. Next up, a little boy is doing what I'm doing in my spare time. His name is Wim, and he's gonna be late for school. The neighborhood is nice, and everything is just weird enough to pass for Star Wars, even though it's literally American suburbs, judging by the width of the street. The blue elephant-looking alien comes around. The name is Neil, and they play out a lightsaber fight. All things considered, still a better choreography than in The Force Awakens. Wim then takes a train to Space Britain, since now the traffic is on the left. Next up, I refuse to believe this character design is accidental, especially in a show that's meant for a younger audience. I see what you did here, Lucasfilm.
Ledger entries with free floating variable tables in which a series of matrices are organized by a labeling algorithm.
Looks like the teaching level at this space school is pretty advanced. Tomorrow is a big test that will set the course of the students' entire careers. But Wim's career plans get him bullied because he's an adventurer, he wants to be a Jedi. It looks to be a very organized and restrictive society, and Wim just doesn't fit in. This is shaping up to be maybe the most relatable Star Wars story to date. I mean, it draws the parallels to how Episode 4 started, but setting it in the regular suburbs is probably closer to the lives of an ordinary audience member than a desert planet is. The test is starting soon, but Wim oversleeps and doesn't make it to a tram. He proceeds to drive this thing through a forest, as if he couldn't use the road, and ends up being stranded. He finds something buried, but then the skibidi cameraman pops up and we jump over straight to the school, where Wim sits and waits for the principal next to another student. This is Fern, and she got in trouble for racing bikes. Wim inadvertently mentions what he found in the forest. Next up, we are briefly shown some space iPad kids, and Wim climbs a house to stalk Neil in the bathroom. They both go to the forest, but they are stupid and end up falling down. Two other characters, Farron and KB, show up. The dialogue actually sounds natural and kind of fun.
I already claimed it.
My Cotton claims he's claimed it from me and KB. No boys allowed.
It's starting to look like a great show. It is now nighttime and Wim's strict father returns home. Wim should be studying because he can retake his test tomorrow, but instead he's in the forest digging because, you know,
the children yearn for the mines.
The kids dig up an entrance and promptly get stuck inside. They need to fix the power to get out of there, but once they fix it, a whole lot of stuff goes online. Wim presses a button and something happens that will forever change the lives of our protagonists. A spaceship digs itself out of the ground and heads for the stars, as Wim's father looks in disappointment, knowing his son will not be there for the test tomorrow. They jump to hyperspace and the episode ends. Now, this is by far the biggest breath of fresh air into Star Wars since the Book of Boba Fett. I know that's controversial, I loved the Book of Boba Fett. I will defend it to my death. It's a pretty basic story so far, but setting it in Star Wars somehow just works. Like usual, cinematography is beautiful, the score works extremely well, character design is impeccable, and there's a sense of grounding and realism. It works for me. The promotion of this show was not remarkable. The interviews that nobody typically watches did not bring anything controversial to the table, which is great. I feel it's better if nobody watches them because that means they're not a disaster. So we get to watch this with very little expectation. Like with The Mandalorian, this is the safest approach to Star Wars. Episode 1 and 2 released at the same time, so I'm sitting down to watch the next one with high hopes. And I will see you there. Goodbye.